Hi, I'm Lian Sawires, developer of Creativity Toolbox for Seniors, and I am excited about aging. I'm here today with Robert Jenkins, artist, filmmaker, teacher, and really, I think, an extraordinary human being. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you.
So, let's talk a little bit about the types of art that you have done over the years. You've worked in clay.
I worked in clay. I went to art school when I came out of the armed forces, and I studied at the National Academy of Fine Arts uptown on East 90th Street, and also at the Art Students League.
Yes.
I working with clay. Stone, I like to work with stone, but I have carpal tunnel in my hands, and you know all that constant pounding gets me. I still have problems with my fingers now. So generally, I work with clay because it's a lot easier to work with, and I can not have any kind of difficulties except, cramp.
As someone who has a strong centered feeling of art yourself, in yourself as an artist, someone who's teaching and sharing that in the world today, what do you feel is the main thing that you are giving these kids, contributing to these kids?
I would say a knowledge for materials and their joy of learning that they can explore these materials to the point where they can come up with something interesting.
Yes. So in your work now, you teach?
Mostly, yes.
Okay. You also create work for sharing. You mentioned to me that you were creating a work last week for the School of the Blind, an Aztec princess, did you say?
Yes, yes. I'm working on that now.
Okay. So it's a piece certainly that has a great deal of tactile reality. I mean, if people are going to feel it, to understand and appreciate what is Aztec art, why is that different, what is that?
So I decided this would be a nice project for my 7, 8, 9-year-olds.
Okay. Well, let's broaden it out a little bit. Why do you do what you do?
Because I love it. It's one way of me using up my excess time. If I didn't do this, I'd probably be sitting around the house doing something else.
Okay.
When I retired from the Metropolitan Museum, I had a lot more free time, and then I could sit back and say to myself, well, what are you going to do? I can find myself a nice little studio, maybe here in Princeton or outside of Princeton, and buy my materials and start working as a sculptor. Or I had the opportunity to go down to the sculpture grounds and volunteer my time as an apprentice.
Yes.
With the foundry that they had. I guess it's
during all of those years, were these creations gestating? Do you feel as though you were stocking up a lot of things that wanted to be created? Or was it more a matter of once you had the time, it simply was creativity flowing through you and new ideas and things happening?
I think the latter was the...
So fresh, new things. It simply was the desire to do it and making it available to yourself, and then the flow of creativity just moves.
It moves you, right.
Okay. Okay.
Because that's why I went from working in a three-dimensional sense as becoming a volunteer for TV 30.
Yes.
For Princeton Community Television.
Yes.
And I never thought I would be doing this kind of work as a cameraman, directing, and then taking classes as a filmmaker.
What do you think about film as an art form? How does that feel to you?
I don't know. It's new to me in a sense, because I'm used to the traditional paintings, clay sculpture, and well, there are many now, writing, or being a photographer as an art form. You know. Doing a documentary was a new experience because then I had to do research.
Yes.
And then I had to be able to compile it and make a story out of it, and then put it on, on tape.
And you're quite an athlete as well. I mean, the film is about bicycling.
Yeah,
You're an avid bicycler.
Yes.
Cyclist.
Yes, cyclist. Yes.
Yes.
I generally bike, I guess 5 days a week. You know. I'm put in maybe 10 to 15 miles a day. Just riding around the general area. And plus, it's good exercise.
Yes. And it's a good vantage point. You're on a bicycle, you can actually see an awful lot more than you can from a car.
From a car, right. And you have, it's a little more, you have more human contact with people. People on the street will wave to you, or another cyclist coming in the opposite direction will say hello to you or something like that.
In your life now, Robert, what do you enjoy the most of all the things that you do? Is there one particular thing, or is there a particular part of life that you perhaps didn't enjoy so much in the past that you enjoy now?
I would say working with children is the most enjoyable.
Very satisfying.
Right. And my second would be traveling to different countries and seeing how other people live and how they adjust to their way of life. And then if you get a chance, you can sit down and compare.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you like about aging?
Well, it's a slower pace. It's a slower pace when it comes to getting around and doing things.
Okay.
Whereas when I was younger, I was rushing here and rushing there and doing things that I would like to do, but it would be at a much faster pace.
Yes. As in more time to savor it, to be present, to really experience. Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Physically, you generally slow down when you're older. I don't think you've mentally I'm still alert like I was when I was younger. Up to a point,
Yes.
I mean, when it comes to memory, that's a whole different thing. I mean, but as far as being able to enjoy life to the fullest when it comes to doing different little things, I think I would enjoy it. I'm enjoying it now a lot more than I would be if I was a younger person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's deeper.
Deeper, yeah.
Maybe the enjoyment is deeper in a sense.
Right. And I think that if I was doing what I'm doing now as a younger person, I don't think that the patience wouldn't be as lasting in terms of like working with kids.
Yes.
And if you don't have that patience to work with them, you can't get anything done.
Which is probably a good reason why it's a good match between mature people and kids, because you have the patience, you're willing to take the time to be present, which is really what kids need.
Right.
So that's a really
So if I was younger,
thought.
I might be a little more, less understanding when it comes to.
Right. In my life, I've learned that this is a true thing. What would that be?